Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. If you're new here, my name is Anushka. Excuse the way I look, honestly it's just been a super chill day and I'm still working anyways. So today's my brother's birthday and the weather's just been awful, so yes, and we're in lockdown, so what is there to do, to be honest? I thought I would try to do his cake. So I started it yesterday and I literally finished it around like midnight. I'm pretty shocked at what I came up with. He did request a chocolate cake, so I kind of played around with it. I love Ferrero Rocher and everyone in the house does too. Before I go into the video, I'm going to give my shout out today to my brother because it is his birthday. Yeah. Anyways, let's jump onto the video. So this is the setup for today's video, and we're first going to start off with our dry ingredients. I'm using 360 grams of self-raising flour, 533 grams of granulated sugar, half a cup of cocoa powder, which is 50 grams, and I'm using a bit of baking soda and salt. I did skip the baking powder that was mentioned in the recipe because I'm using self-raising flour. If you're not, then do put in the baking powder, but you want to give this a good mix and set this aside. Now in another bowl we're going to mix all our wet ingredients, starting off with 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. You want to put that in. Then we have 1 cup of buttermilk. I got my buttermilk from Tesco and they only have one literally, but you can make this at home with lemon and milk. There's so many recipes online. Then I used 3 large eggs, and finally some coffee. I'm going to use 1 cup and a half. Now the cup measurers that I use are from Tesco. They're super handy, especially when you're measuring liquids. I find it so much easier. Whoops, I actually forgot we also add in some sour cream. That's half a cup of sour cream, and you just want to give this a good mix. Oh, got some vanilla as well. I forgot the recipe, honestly. I actually bought this online. I wanted to invest in some good vanilla extract. Just bear in mind that this has alcohol in it, but it was so good, so worth the money. And you just want to give this a mix. Oh my god. You just want to give this a good mix with a whisk. And if you guys want the recipe, I'll link it in the info box. It's from Preppy Kitchen. The recipe has the measurements in milliliters for the liquids, so if you find that more helpful, do check out the recipe. So here I'm mixing the wet ingredients with the dry ingredients, and you just want to give this a good whisk. You can put in the automatic electric whisk, or you can just do it by hand, whatever you wish. And I'm going to use 3 of my sandwich pans. These are 8-inch pans, and I get them from Asda and Tesco because they're so much cheaper than on Amazon, weirdly enough. And I'm just buttering and flouring them so that my cake doesn't stick to them. And I try to measure the batter equally between the 3 tins. It came to around 620 grams roughly. I wasn't able to match it all, but oh well, we got a rough measurement. And then these I don't even know what these are called, but you just wet these and put them around your cake, and it just makes the edges really moist. It doesn't dry them up. And we're going to put these in the oven for 40 minutes at 170 degrees Celsius. Right, so now onto the buttercream. I'm using 350 grams of unsalted butter. This is just from Tesco, and I make sure I leave it at room temperature so it can get a bit soft. And you really want to whisk this until it becomes a much paler color like this. And now we're going to go in with some icing sugar. I used, I think, 720 grams of icing sugar, and I'm just going to beat this in small parts. Now to avoid this going everywhere, literally everywhere, I kind of mix in little by little and on a really low speed. And unfortunately my low speed on my electric whisk is not that low, but it seems to work, so just bear that in mind, guys. It really helps. So then when I was done mixing, I put some of the buttercream aside, just a little bit, like a dollop, just aside for the decoration. You'll see later. So then I'm just going in with some cocoa powder. I put 30 grams of cocoa powder. I had a little bit of coffee left, so literally a tablespoon of it. And then I'm going to go in with some of my vanilla extract, which smells amazing. And we're going to do 1/4 cup of whipping cream. I just want to give this a good mix. I find this so satisfying. Look at that. Look at everything just combining. So now I'm going in with a bit of dark chocolate. This is 45 grams of dark chocolate, 72%, with 2 tablespoons of double cream, and you put it in the microwave for 30 seconds and it just becomes this thick paste. I didn't put all of it in, I put half of it because I don't want the buttercream to be too strong. I'm not the biggest fan, actually I'm not a fan at all of dark chocolate. I mean, who is? It just tastes nasty. It's nasty. But I'm just scraping out the edges and making sure everything's nicely mixed. And we're going to put this aside. I took 10 Ferrero Rochers because obviously this is the theme of the cake, and I took 10 of them and crushed it into this basically. And I think I took like 3 or 4 big tablespoons, just enough to like fill it in between my cakes, so like just 2 layers. So I just, whatever you feel comfortable with, I put like 3 or 4 big tablespoons, and I'm just mixing it with our crushed Ferrero Rocher like so. And if you're into baking, you guys need these spatulas because they're amazing. Like, I can't bake without this. I need to buy more. I've only got 2 and I feel like I need more. So once that's done, I'm just going to put this to the side and we're going to start getting our cakes out. So I let my cakes cool for like 10 minutes before I started doing this. They were still quite hot. I kind of took a knife and scraped the edges and then kind of like tapped it to get it out of the tin. I don't know what it is with me, but I always seem to mess this bit up. I don't know if I'm too rough, but this one came out pretty well. Like, with a few taps, it came out. And you want it to be still kind of hot for it to slip out of the tin, not completely cooled down. I feel like it would be harder to get it out. So this one was struggling. This is just real time, guys, no joke. So I scraped around the edges again, and that just seemed to do the job, and it came out easily. Now this one broke. Look at that. But you know, you can always fix it, don't worry. So I got this thing, I don't know, what is this? The thing that you fry your eggs with, I don't know what it's called now. I know the names, but it just never comes to my mind when I'm doing voiceovers or when I'm filming. But anyways, I just placed that on top of the cake and voila, it was fixed. Don't be disheartened, guys, you can always fix the issue. So I let that cool completely, and now I am leveling one of the cakes because one of them kind of had a mountain and you want them straight, because if you keep that, it's going to make your cake look dodgy. So I'm just leveling it to the same size as the cake, so only part of the cake came off, not the whole top. The reason why I put those damp cloths around the cake tins before putting them in the oven is to avoid this, but I don't know why this one didn't work. I don't know. But guys, I ordered a little mini palette knife. I had a massive one, which is helpful, but it's too big. This was a lifesaver. It's so precise. Anyways, I got my cake turntable and a cake plate that I got on Amazon. I put a little bit of buttercream to stick the first layer cake on. Look, I don't even know what the hell I'm saying right now. And we're starting with our first layer of buttercream, the one where we mixed with the Ferrero Rocher, and we're just going to smooth this and do a nice thick layer of it. Not too thick though, because obviously I'm trying to take the feedback from my family and they said don't put too much, it's too sweet. I mean, it's a cake, what else is it supposed to be? And now we're going in with the second layer, and with our second layer of Ferrero Rocher buttercream. So satisfying, guys. Now we're going to put the last layer on top, and to be honest, 3 layers is actually quite tall. I don't know how the hell I did 6 layers with the rainbow cake, but now we're gonna put a thin layer of the buttercream. So this is the smooth portion that I kept aside. This is not really, it's kind of like a crumb coat, but because I didn't carve out the cakes and trim them, there's not that many crumbs, but this is just going to help lock everything in place, and it's just going to make smoothing your buttercream afterwards so much easier. So yeah, I'm just doing a quick like smooth layer just to, you know, lock it in place. Think of this as your primer. Yeah, that's a perfect explanation. And then we're going to go in with the foundation afterwards, but we're going to let the primer sit a bit. So we're going to put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Now we're back again and we're going to put the foundation on. So this is a good thick layer of buttercream, and yeah, it just went on smoothly. And I'm just going to put a bunch of dollops and evenly smooth it roughly around the edges, because we're going to use our cake smoother afterwards. So here's our little white dollop of buttercream that comes into play. I'm just going to randomly dot this on the sides of the cake. My goal was to get this kind of like artistic look, you know, but it just didn't really work out. It kind of did, but not to how I wanted. It just didn't turn out how I wanted it to be, basically. So but you guys know what I mean. See, look, this is what I was trying to go for, but I kept smoothing and it was just all mixing together. And I got a really large cake smoother from Amazon. I'll try and link all my tools that I use. They're so affordable. It's a pain to have them all, but I wouldn't be able to do my cake without these tools. So now I'm just like smoothing and taking off any of the excess. So basically the white's completely gone. It's done this cool blend, like a slight blend, but I wanted more of that kind of blend, like right here. But it just disappeared afterwards because I kept smoothing away. So here, because I've done like a nice smooth layer, you want to take off any excess off your cake smoother before you go back at the cake again. And I'm doing the same here. I'm using my palette knife from outwards towards the inside of the cake. I'm just smoothing the edges so we get a nice corner, like a nice edge on the rim. So yeah, I'm just trying to clean up the cake basically. But every time you touch the cake and there's buttercream, wipe it off basically at this step, because you're just going to mess it up even more. So here I just wiped off the excess and went back at it again. I don't even know if I'm making sense. So here I made some chocolate ganache for the drip. I'm just putting some in a like sandwich bag, and I just use a mix of dark chocolate and milk chocolate for this, and a random amount of double cream, and it just made this drip. Just play around with it and test it on the side of a cup before you start dripping. But I think this was like the most perfect drip, and it's so weird because I randomly measured this. But you can always play around with it. Like if it's too thick, add more double cream and warm it up in the microwave. It's the quickest thing ever, but I'm so happy with this drip. I just trimmed a little corner of the sandwich bag, by the way. And yeah, you want to be quite patient here. I'm like fast forwarding it, but be patient with this. You don't want to mess it up. You come too far to mess it up, guys. So just to dry the drip and so that it doesn't touch the bottom of the cake, I'm just like fanning it so it can dry quickly. I had a little mistake on the top, like a dent, so I fixed that. So here I'm taking a piping bag, and I took one of these heads that I wanted, like it kind of creates those little swells. And in cling film, I'm just going to put some of the chocolate buttercream along with the rest of the white buttercream. And we're just going to wrap this up like this, like a little package, and then cut the edge, like the end. And we're going to put this into the piping bag, and it's just so much easier. And this is just going to create a nice swirl effect with the two colors. And just swatch it on like on the side of a bowl or something, and then go in and start doing your swirls. I mean, I'm not the perfect at this, to be honest, like measuring how much distance should be between each swirl, but it turned out okay in the end. And it looks so pretty, like the white and the chocolate blend. It was so nice. I was so proud of myself. I mean, I didn't invent this, but it looks so pretty. And then I filled the edges with like a little dollop of buttercream, and on the little dollops I stuck a Ferrero Rocher on top, and literally this just finished the cake for me. It looks so beautiful. I was gonna dust some like chocolate powder on top, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna touch anymore. And look, I was so proud of my cake. I mean, let's not forget last year when I tried to do this. What the hell was I thinking, and why the hell did I think this was okay to put on YouTube? But anyways, here's the final result. It just shows how time and practice helps. I was so proud of my cake. I mean, I look like I came out of hibernation, so ignore that, but the cake looks absolutely gorgeous. I was so proud of myself. I mean, I could definitely improve, but I never in a million years would I have thought that I could do a cake like this. So if I can do it, you guys can definitely do it too. My birthday is going to be next week, so give me some ideas of what I should do for my birthday, guys. And look at the close-up, it's so beautiful. I'm so proud. We got some candles from Tesco, which was super cute, made it kind of look retro, you know. I mean, it was £2, but you know, still added some effect. My little brother helped me to light up the candles, and it looks so beautiful, guys. I would literally pay for this cake if I would say so myself, you know. And I was really proud of the sponge and the layers. It looked really good, and it was so moist and fluffy and chocolatey. It's not too rich. And yeah, I basically cut the cake like Kylie Jenner. Oh my god, like so ugly. But anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I ate the cake basically. It was so good. And yeah, just thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.